10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we welcome you back down to Carmel High School. Scene of the Carmel Sectional, game number 1. An exciting game. We'll get to that in just a moment. Coming up, second game, Fisher 16-7 on the year, and Anderson coming in at 7-16. And game number 2, Terry Baker, Big Dan Bozier, Rick Vander Weilen, our executive producer. The rest of our crew on hand tonight. Big Jan, get your breath yet after that?
Boy, what a great game. That was a game in which, boy, it could have just went either way. Westfield certainly had its opportunities, played its heart out with the young ball club, but down the stretch, it was the Royals free throw shooting that closed the deal.
Hamilton Southeastern a winner over Westfield by a score of 62-57 in double overtime. Hamilton Southeastern moves to 15-8 on the year. Westfield finishes their season at 12-11. So HSC will now go up against Noblesville, a 13-10 team, on Friday night in game number 1. Up next, Anderson's Indians coming in here, Chan, at 7-16 on the year. The Fishers Ball Club comes in at 16-7. On paper, this does not look like much of a contest, but it's tournament time.
It is tournament time. You know, this is where you got nothing to lose if you're the Indians. Look for them to maybe throw some surprise or wrinkles in to throw Fishers off a little bit. But this is a Fishers ball club that's bigger, stronger, has played a dynamite schedule. They're going to be a handful for the Indians.
Well, the bad news is, if you're an Anderson fan, they played back on the 5th of February in a game at Fishers, and Fishers came away with a 75-54 win in that ball game. For Fishers, Jeffrey Simmons had 18 points and a dozen rebounds. He hit 7 out of 9 field goals. Matthew and Cisgali had 15 and Jackson 13 for Fishers. Anderson led by Brandon Harrelson with 18 points on 9 of 13 shooting from the field. And Davion Turner had 14 points in that ball game. This Fishers outfit 16-7 on the year. Jen, their average loss was only 7.1 points per game. They lost all 7 games by a total of 50 points. On the other hand, Anderson comes in with 16 losses, and they're on a 4-game losing streak. And in that 4-game losing streak, their average loss was by 19.2 points a game. They have given up 70-plus points in a dozen games this year. That pretty well tells you the story.
Yeah, it really does. Defense has been an issue, and part of that is because they don't match up. They're not near the size of the Fishers. Hey, let's not forget, Fisher's tied for second in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. This is a really good ball club.
Anderson lost to Fishers last year in the sectional semifinal, 72-58. If you go back, Jen, and look last year, it was interesting last year. They defeated Fishers 64-62 in the regular season and then lost 72-58 in the sectional last year. Maybe if you're Mike Elliott, the head coach at Anderson, you look back and say, hey, a year ago, we got one off these guys. Let's see if we can get it again.
Yeah, you look for all the positives that you can find. I think he's got to slow the game down. He's got to shorten it. He's got to keep with it the same term we used last that Westland was able to do, striking distance, keep it there. And the only way they're going to do that is really kind of shorten the game, slow it down. Unfortunately, fans don't like to look at that, but if that's what's got to get you there, that's what you got to do.
Well, I think realistically, if you want to look at it, to continue your thought there, if you're going to come out and just play heads up and run up and down the floor, I just don't see any way for Anderson to stay with this ball club.
No, because Fisher shoots the 3 pretty well as well, so they go inside, outside. Fisher shoots the 3 at 40%. They shoot field goals at 52%, so pick your poison where you want to guard. So, for me, Anderson's best defense is a good slow-down offense.
numbers-wise, they're very similar. Anderson averages 60.5 points per game. Fishers averages 61.9. On the defensive side of things, Anderson gives up 68.2 points a game. You're not going to win many games doing that. Fishers gives up 57.3. So you got to figure from a purely statistical standpoint, Fishers, as you point out, is the odds-on favorite because they're giving up so many fewer points. Fishers 16-7, and as I point out, 7.1 per game over their 7 losses. And this is a ball club that takes care of the ball. They are averaging, Jan, just over 12 turnovers a game. Now that's about 5 or 6 more than the coaching staff would like, but that's not bad for an up and down game.
No, they're well tested, as I talked about earlier. They finished second in that HCC conference, and from top to bottom, the Hoosier Crossroads was incredibly tough this year. So this is a well-tested Fisher Tiger ball club.
Fishers was 5-2 in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference this year. Fishers coached by Matt Moore. He's in his second year at the school, a record of 28-19. And overall, 5 years as a head coach, a record of 70 wins and 50 losses. Anderson, coached by Mike Elliott, I mentioned a moment ago. He is 18-30 in the second year at Anderson and 79-99 in 8 years overall. Yeah, we're not used to when you think of Anderson, as you and I do, and the terrific North Central Conference competition over the years. By the way, they were 3-6 in the conference this year. You think back to the history of this Anderson school, and my goodness, all of the tournaments, they have won 51 sectionals, but the last was in 2009.
Yeah, a lot of history over the town of Anderson. I can certainly remember, so can you, a lot of visits to a little place called the Wigwam.
Oh my.
Pretty special place to play some hoops.
In addition to the 51 sectionals, Anderson has won 30 regionals, but you've got to go back to 1996 to find the last time they won a regional. And oh yeah, they've won 11 semi-straights, but the last semi-state they won was in 1990. So you can see how the trend is to the negative, if you will. 3 state championships. They won it all in 1935, 1937, and 1946. And they have been the runner-up in the state championship on 7 different occasions. The last time, though it's a long time ago, in 1986. So the tradition is there. You got to start building again.
Yeah, you really do. Second-year head coach, he's trying to do those things. Get the town back, get the enthusiasm, and that's really only going to happen one way. You got to win.
Absolutely. Anderson comes in, as I mentioned, at 7 wins and 16 losses, averaging 60.5 points a game. Their leading scorer is a 6'1" senior, Brandon Harrelson. He averages 12.5 points per game. Oh yeah, he also leads the team in rebounds at 6.8. Oh yeah, he leads the team in assists at 2.4. And while we're at it, leads the team in steals at 2.2. So Jen will focus a lot on Anderson's number 40 tonight.
Yeah, he will need to have a really good game. They don't score a lot of points outside of 2 or 3 people. So between Turner and Brandon, number 40, that's where most of their offense will come from.
You mentioned Turner. It's Davion Turner, number 24. He's a freshman, by the way, at 5'9". He's the only other Anderson Indian that averages in double figures, and that's at 11.8 per game. On the other side of the coin, Fishers led scoring-wise by number 5, Willie Jackson, the 5'11" senior, in 23 games this year, an average of 14.1 points per game, but he gets a lot of help, Jen. There are 3 other players in double figures. Josiah Matthews, number 2, at 10.3. Alex Szilagyi at 10.2 per game, and Jeffrey Simmons, only a freshman at 6'5", by the way, at 11.9. So they can spread their scoring out, and the opening tip is underway, and the Indians will go on defense as Fishers in the dark uniform and will get the ball to begin tonight's second game.
Well, if you got any shot of pointing the upset for Anderson, A, starts with good defense, and then you got to keep it close.
Spin move inside off the mark that time by Matthews. And here comes Anderson getting their first possession. Here's the long-range 3, rims out, the collision out almost at the mid-court stripe, no foul called. Loose ball inside, taken away that time, and picked up by Fishers, and here they come. Left wing, 3-pointer, No, but good. And here comes Anderson again. Wide open underneath. Nobody got back to defend Jesse Sawyer. He gets his first 2 points of the game.
Great recognition. Anderson really kind of off to a pretty good start here. Just 2 points, but allowing just 1 shot for Fishers.
Well, I have not seen any change in the offense, Jen. Apparently, they're not going to slow it down. They're going to try to run with them.
Well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Even though it hasn't been super successful, some teams, Bake, as you know, don't adapt to changing their style. That won't work for them.
Well, they're set up in a zone defense right now. That'll do one thing. That should slow the game down scoring-wise a little bit anyway. Fishers with the basketball for the second time. And they get inside, heavy traffic, but they manage to get the bucket nonetheless. And that's Jeffrey Simmons.
Simmons really does a good job of getting in the paint. Good offense by the Tigers.
So we are tied at 2 with the game just getting underway. We're about 2 minutes in. In the home white uniforms, the Anderson Indians. Here's the ball knocked out of bounds. Stay with Anderson.
Good cut, but the pass was a half step slow getting there.
They will inbounds under their own basket. The winner here gets the Carmel Greyhounds, if that's any kind of a reward.
Number 1.
On Friday. In the second game here at Carmel High School. If you're in the area, come on out. Love to have you on hand. Here's the long-range 3 that's up and good by Joseph Jones.
Jones nails that 3-pointer, and the more of those they can get will help their cause, Bake.
He's their leading 3-point shooter at 42 on the year. And the lead goes to 5-0 right now with Anderson on top.
He shoots the 3 at 38%, so if he can get those looks, that's good for the Indians.
Fishers working the perimeter. They go right inside again. They go to Matthews again. That's the second or third time they've gone to him. They go outside this time for the 3-point field goal by Luke Hernandez. Hernandez, 12th 3-pointer on the year. And we got a foul called. It'll be against Fishers. Foul is on Alex Salaji, 6-foot junior. Number 1 on him. And the first against the ball club, of course. We are tied for the first time of the contest at 5. Second time of the contest at 5.
Not a good pass. Not a good pass, Meg.
Fishers didn't have numbers on the break, but they managed to get the shot and got the bucket. That's Willie Jackson.
Well, Fishers makes you pay. When you make a mistake, that's what has really made them super successful this year. You make a mistake, they make you pay.
We talked about how Fishers can spread out their scoring. They've had 3 field goals from 3 different players. Inside, little swinging hook shot is good by Jesse Sawyer. And Sawyer has a couple of buckets and 4 points. And we're tied at 7.
Anderson really attacking the paint, getting something out of it.
Zone defense, Jen, at least at this juncture, doing what it's described to do, to slow down a little bit. Now
Anderson is he's now starting to extend. They got to be careful because Fishers loves to drive. There it is. See?
And the layup is good.
See, they pulled Anderson out and that opened up the paint.
Jackson's second bucket, 4 points for him. Here's the long-range 3 that is up and good by Davion Turner. He called it a 2. I thought it was 3, but it's a 2. Here's this pass inside, and the bucket by Jeffrey Simmons, his second field goal.
Boy, up and down we go, Beck. Pretty fast pace.
I was a little surprised by that.
But right now, Anderson's hanging in there.
They'll fire the 3 from the deep left wing and throw an air ball up there. Fishers with numbers, and they'll bring it back outside, and they'll look for 3 again. This one goes in and out, that time attempted by Alex Salaji. And we'll get a timeout. Taken by Fishers. I'll check it by Anderson, the first time out of the game.
30.
So 30-second timeout. If you're just joining us, going back to our previous game tonight, it was a beauty. A double overtime game. Hamilton Southeastern winning by 5, 62-57 in 2 overtimes. HSC now will move on to play Noblesville in the opening game on Friday. Logan Street Signs and Banners has been serving Hamilton County since 1992. They're conveniently not located on Logan Street, but rather South 10th and Noblesville, so visit LoganStreetSigns.com. Conveniently not located.
Only Jim Wofford can be conveniently not located.
Jim is himself.
Jim's our buddy. Hello, Jim.
He is not located. 3:23 to go in the first quarter of this game. Anderson in the white uniforms, Fishers in the dark red. And we're going to get a foul call. They doubled deep in the corner that time on Brandon Harrelson, and somebody got a piece of him. So the foul's going to be called on Fishers.
Anderson has to continually move without the basketball. They started out that way, now kind of slowing down a little bit. If you're going to score against the Tigers, you got to move without the ball.
Foul was on Justin Long of Fishers, number 1 on him. 3 minutes, 5 seconds to go here in the opening quarter of play. Here at Carmel High School, the sectional tournament just getting underway. 4 great weeks of high school basketball culminating down at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Spin move inside is a great move and a good shuffle pass off that side to Jesse Sawyer.
Sawyer's with 6. Anderson really getting nice rotation and patience and getting a good shot.
2 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the first quarter of this game. Tie ball game at 11. That is the 5th tie of this game. Bucket by Willie Jackson. Jackson now with a half a dozen. He has 6 points. His average 14-1. He's almost halfway there already. 2:20 to go in the opening period. A lot of dribbling out here by Jesse Sawyer. Gives the ball up, then turns it over into the hands of Justin Long. And very slow on the foul call, but it's going to be called against Anderson, and it looks to be on Davion Turner, the freshman.
Yeah, and Anderson does a good thing here. Don't let him score that. It was a good, clean, hard foul, but don't let him have the easy one. Make him earn it at the free throw line. If you're going to foul him for sure, don't let him score, but make him earn it.
That'll be his first. 2 shots, of course, fouled in the act of shooting. At the line, Alex Zalaji, who's a junior at 6 foot.
Fisher's pretty good free throw shooting ball club, coming in at 73% as a team.
And Zalaji is really good, 83%. Got them both. First couple of points now for Alex. And it's a 16-11 lead now in favor of Fisher, so they have stretched their lead to 5, the biggest lead so far in the contest. And a foul on Fishers at the other end. Foul's on Luke Hernandez. That'll be number 1 on him. There's Jones. This side to Tyrone Wills. Can bring it back outside to Sawyer again. Sawyer gets inside. I don't know if you're going to count the bucket or not.
I don't think so. Let's see what he does. I think he called it before. And indeed he did. I like the way this Sawyer moves, Bake. He's really one of the weapons here for the Indians, really doing a good job of cutting towards the hoop.
That was on Emmanuel Davis of Fishers, number 1 on him. A minute 42 to go now in the opening quarter. And a steal. And an uncontested layup coming up for Simmons. So 6 points now for Jeffrey. 7-point differential, Jan, and this, I know it's early, but this is a key point of the game right now.
Well, Anderson's not doing a great job of recognizing the double team. And once again, dribbling gets you in trouble at sectional time.
Anderson just cannot afford to get down by the numbers that they are down. Here's another giveaway, and the basket by Justin Long.
Yeah, and also the problem with giveaways is the other team gets a super easy shot.
So we'll get a timeout. 9-point lead for Fishers with a minute 3 to go in the first quarter of this game. And Fishers spreading out their scoring. Willie Jackson with 6, Justin Long with a couple. Javali's been at the line for 2 shots, 2 points. Hernandez with 3, and Simmons also with a half a dozen points. for Anderson, 3 points for Jones, and 6 points for Jesse Sawyer. You know every word of your school's fight song, but you can't remember your agent's last name? Let us know what you have and what you need. Find a local agent at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood.
Pressure has really hurt the Indians. They've got to take care of the basketball.
Less than a minute to go in the first quarter, and already Fishers has put up 20 points on the board. I mentioned they average just almost 62 points a game. And here comes the Tigers again. Down to 40 seconds to go in the opening period. Fishers appears to be content just to wait out the final 28 seconds of this first period. They're up by 9. Game was tied 5 times. The last tie was at 11, so Fishers has run off 9 consecutive points. Down to 10 seconds to go. Now we're down to 5 and 4. Well, they're a long way from the hoop to get any kind of a shot. They get it inside. The ball partially blocked, and they wasted about a minute that time, but nonetheless come up with a lead. After 1 quarter of play in game number 2 at Carmel High, it is Fishers 20 and Anderson 11 on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at you. You've been you for years, and we're good at your insurance. You're good at laundry basketball. We're good at your insurance. You're good at stopping a gas pump on a 00. We're good at your insurance. You're good at making funny face sandwiches. And we're good at your insurance. So start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
For Anderson, only 3 players scored in the first period. A 6-point total for Jesse Sawyer. 3 for Joseph Jones, and the other 2 belong to Davion Turner. For Fishers, 6 points for Willie Jackson and Jeffrey Simmons. 3 points for Luke Hernandez and 2 each for Justin Long and Alex Salazzi. And a 20-11 score after 1 quarter of play.
Well, the pressure out of Fishers really played havoc against Anderson, and that really sets up their offense, because when Fishers puts on pressure, they get offense out of their defense.
The turnovers, Jan, you mentioned this as they continue to turn it over. Anderson is averaging just under 15 turnovers per game. And when you turn those into points at the other end, that's tough. Nice little move inside that time by Brandon Harrelson.
Yeah, much better movement. Anderson takes it right to the hoop.
Harrelson, 6'1" senior, I mentioned, the leading scorer at 12.5 per game. Those were his first 2 points. Cuts the lead down to 7. Second quarter just underway, and the winner of this game will get the Carmel Greyhounds, the number 1 team of the state of Indiana, on their home court in the second game on Friday. And Fisher throws it away.
Yeah, Fishers gets a little sloppy there. That's what you do not want your team to do. You put up with a lot of things, but those unforced errors drive you crazy as a coach.
For the Indians, it's been a struggle of late, as we mentioned. Here's a wide open look right at the free throw line that is short. The rebound off the Fishers. This is the 6th consecutive losing season for Anderson. Foul's going to be called against Anderson. And they'll get number 20, and that'll be Tyrell Wills. Over the last 5 years, to give you some idea of the struggle they've gone through, their record is 31-89. And the last time they had a winning season was 2013-14, when they went 16-6. So it's been a struggle for a school that's so rich in tradition.
Pretty good shot by Anderson, just couldn't get it to go.
Little floater out front, catches the back of the rim, and then falls to the floor, and the chase is on, and it's chased down by Harrelson. Give off on the near side. The layup is off the mark that time by Glazebrook. And we'll see if it's a tie-up. It'll go back to Fishers. Substitution now for Fishers, number 12, Alex Zagali coming back into the lineup.
Nick, I really like the way Harrelson plays out of Anderson. He is one bright spot. He continues to attack against the Fisher Tigers.
Clock running at 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half of this ball game. Matthews with the basketball, looking inside, trying to get the ball in deep if he can. Now the penetration of the layup is no good, and the foul's going to be called on Brendan Harrelson. That'll be his first of the game.
Well, Fisher's showing a lot of patience against this zone. Really getting good movement, and then finally, nobody likes to play defense for a long time. So if you get a lot of movement and you can reverse the ball, sooner or later you'll find a little gap in that zone, and that's what happened with Fishers.
13 fouled against Anderson, but a two-shot foul. Matthews at the line, 73% on the year. 6-foot senior, getting his first point of the evening. Ontarius Jones, one of the starters, coming back onto the court now for Anderson. 22-13. 9-point lead equals the largest lead of the game for Fishers.
Yep.
And we got to travel.
Yep, shuffle the feet.
Other games going on tonight. There are a ton of them, of course, up and down the state. Rising Sun against Morristown. That is a game, a single game at Southwestern Shelbyville, and I mentioned that because we're going to be heading down there on Saturday. Take a look at the championship game there. And the Crew will be in Newcastle on Friday. They've got a doubleheader going likewise. Muncie Burris and Hamilton Heights. And then Delta and Yorktown. Jennifer getting scores. We're going to pass those along to our viewers. Here's an offensive foul. And it's going to be called against Matthews. And that is number 1 on him. And the 5th foul against the Tigers. Clock running. We're heading toward the 5-minute mark of this second period. Another turnover. What a nice job of going to pick up the loose ball. That is Jones scrambling on the deck. And they held ball, or they're going to give him a timeout. I guess they'll probably give Anderson the timeout there.
Not sure what we're talking about.
Well, I'm not sure either. It's going to be a full timeout, so we will take a break. 4:56 to go in the first half. It is 22-13 right now with Fishers over Anderson, the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
For the first time in forever, I feel like us. I feel like we're back to that place where we know what each other's thinking and feeling.
You know, sometimes I think we don't have enough insurance. And then I think maybe we have too much.
This is no moment for insurance. Let us help you think about it. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
4 minutes and 56 seconds to go in the first half, and 22-13 your score. Big guy, you got scores?
Yeah, at Newcastle, it's Hamilton Heights 62, Muncie Burris 48, and I think we got an upset. Plainfield 46, Brownsburg 43.
Wow, final?
I believe it's a final.
Wow, that is a low-scoring game and a bit of an upset. Brownsburg is having a great season. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on another score. We'll try to check that Rising Sun Morristown score also at Southwestern Shelbyville.
I don't know that it's a final. Let me double check that.
Okay.
But it's right now we'll call it Plainfield leading. Let me verify if it's a final.
All right, fair enough. 4:40 to go in the first half of this game. Anderson Indians struggling right now, not shooting the ball well at all as they fall away with about a 20-footer right straight on by Joseph Jones. And here comes Fishers again on the offensive attack with 4.5 to go now in the half. They've led by as many as 9, and that's where they are right now. Anderson led early on by 5 points. In fact, they scored the first 5 points of the game. Here's a long three. No good that time by Jackson. And the rebound by Matthews. Now we're inside 4 minutes, halfway through the second quarter. Fisher scored 20 points in the first quarter. They have 2 in this quarter. Here's the turnaround shot, no good. They got the rebound and put it right back up. And the bucket is good by Justin Long. That'll be his second field goal coming in off the bench. And we'll get a ball that's knocked out of bounds, and we'll go in the possession of the Tigers. See the score on your screen, 24-13 right now.
Well, the game's a little slow, and that is kind of what we thought Anderson would want. But right now, Fishers looks pretty solid. They do their half court. They're very patient. They're basically saying, Anderson, you want to play half court? We can do it pretty well, too.
Well, it's going to take almost a perfect game shooting-wise. They're going to have to shoot 50% or so or better, they being Anderson, to stay with us, and they're turning the ball over an awful lot in this contest. Morristown has won their game 57-56 final. Wow, that's Morristown, one of the favorites against Rising Sun. Rising Sun is a 10-10 ball club. So Morristown will advance.
Morristown, a good ball club.
Fouls on Tyrell Wills, number 2 for Anderson. Team foul number 4. 2:39 to go in the half. We are told that is a final score.
Yeah.
Big guy on that Brownsburg score.
Columbus East come back to beat Bloomington North 59-58.
Long three off the mark that time by Justin Long. And with 2:22 to play in the first half, Fisher's up and, to be honest, kind of dominant so far in this game. Here's a foul being called on the rebound that time by Fishers. I think it's going to go against Fishers.
I don't think that really Fishers is probably super pleased the way they played. And sometimes you have a tendency to not kick it up to that level, but it's still only an 11-point game. So Anderson's objective here to stay within striking. If they get something here back, they're right where they still within striking distance.
Well, the problem, Jan, they had 11 points after the end of the first quarter, and they got 13 right now.
That's been an issue for sure.
They've scored 2 points in the quarter, and we have 2 minutes to play in the quarter. Here's the basket is good. It's Willie Jackson. Jackson now with 8 points. And the foul is on number 10, Joseph Jones. And Willie will go to the line with the chance for the three-point play. Good free throw shooter, 83% on the year for the senior, 5'11 senior Willie Jackson. Can't get the roll. Rebound comes off into the hands of Ontarius Jones. 26-13 is your score. In favor of Fishers. And we'll get a foul against the Tigers.
Let me sneak in a couple scores here, Beck. New Pal 60, Greenfield Central 45. Pendleton Heights leads Richmond 28-19 at halftime. Lawrence North leads Cathedral 33-29 in the third. That was an interesting score.
You betcha. Davion Turner with the line for Anderson. That's his third point. Had a 2-point field goal back in the first quarter. Returning for Anderson, 5'10" senior Joey Tilford, averaging just under 2 points a game. Turner gets them both. He has 4 now, so they have scored 4 points, Anderson, in this quarter.
That's
with a
tough.
minute 45 to go.
That's tough, Meg. Got to have some points. Offense has been difficult to come by for Anderson.
Tipped away. Good defensive play. Turned in that time by Tyrell Wills. Now Anderson will, looks like Fisher will make a change. Matthews coming back onto the court now. And we're down to 1 minute 36 of the first half. 26-15 your score.
This is pretty slow pace for Fishers. You're looking at the ball club out of Fishers, who wants to score around the 61 pace, so a little bit slow for them. Not too far off their pace.
Minute 15 to play in the half. And a foul's going to be called on Fishers. And it's on Josiah Matthews. That'll be number 2 on him. And we're heading toward the 1 minute mark of the first half.
You know, if Anderson can just find something here, get it under with 10-10, as difficult as their offense has been in this second period, they're still hanging around. And that's the unfortunate piece.
You know, Jen, I've been talking about Anderson only scoring 4 points in the quarter. Fishers has scored 6.
Yeah, neither team has set it on fire here offensively.
Miserable second quarter of play for both teams. You've got to drive the coaching staffs nuts.
Well, like we've seen Southeastern early against Westfield, sometimes offense doesn't happen, but you can play hard defense.
You know, a team like Anderson, as we pointed out, with nothing to lose, they can, there's a good defensive play turned in defensively by Tyrell Wills. And a foul. What happens, Jan, is you get caught. I don't care how good you are, you get caught sometimes in games that just take you out of your game. And that's kind of where we are right now.
No doubt about it. And sometimes, because the other team struggles to score,
you struggle.
Yeah, you struggle to score. You don't understand why. It shouldn't affect you, but for whatever reason, sometimes it does.
That's the 9th foul, by the way, on Fisher, so the bonus is in effect. And Turner, the freshman, will go to the line where he is 2 out of 2. He has 4 points, make it 5. Averaging just under 12 per game. 30.4 seconds remain in the first half.
Hey, get one more, get it below 10. There you go.
Joseph Jones, the junior, returns now for the Anderson Indians with 30.5 seconds to play in the first half. This second quarter has just been something. Anderson has scored 6 points. Fishers has scored 6 points.
Makes the scorebook a little easier.
Yeah.
Unlike that first game.
That first game. You've looked with us, Hamilton Southeastern winning in double overtime over Westfield. Driving inside, a blocking foul will be called against Anderson. And climbing off the deck, Jones with number 1 foul. 6th team foul, but fouled in the act of shooting. So Justin Long will get 2 shots.
And when you shoot your free throws and you're not close, it's kind of a derivative of how the game's being played.
Yeah.
The focus has got to get back for Fishers. They're just not where they need to be, and certainly Anderson is not either.
Now, so far, if you're waiting to put this in the time capsule, go ahead and bury it because it's been ugly. Turnover after turnover, and that is the end of the first half. neither club can be very happy with what has transpired in the second quarter of this ball game. As at halftime, Fisher's up by 10, 27-17. They led by as many as 13. Trailed early on. Anderson got the first 5 points of the game. Let's go down sideline now. Here's Brad.
Thanks, Jerry. Coach Moore, an interesting first half. Not a whole lot of action in the second quarter. First quarter, a bit of scoring, but second half turned into a defensive battle.
Yeah, the excitement of the sectionals here, and it's, a lot of guys are hitting shots and taking shots in that first quarter. I thought we did a good job of getting long rebounds and turning that into offense in the first quarter. Second quarter, we kind of settled in. We got to continue to get the ball inside to Jeff and get basket area shots, but despite a kind of a sloppy second quarter, I'll take a 10-point lead at half.
What do you look for as far as adjustments for the second half?
We just got to do a better job of identifying what they're in. They're doing a good job of changing from man to zone, extending the pressure line. So our guys just got to talk a little bit more and find out what they're in and settle in and continue, like I said, to get the ball to Jeff.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Jerry, back to you.
All right, thank you. Brad Silver chatting with Matt Moore, the second-year head coach of the Fishers Tigers. His ball club, although he's not particularly happy about it right now, has a 10-point lead at halftime. They lead Anderson by a score of 27-17. Back in a moment on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
The Pacers want you to feel the excitement and be a part of the action. Plan your company, school, or team outing today. As a group, you can play where the pros play. Perform in front of thousands. Pump up the crowd. High-five the stars. Bring the noise. Dance your heart out. Take home a part of the game. Great experiences are available for your group. Go to pacers.com/groups.
Never miss a big game by downloading the IHSAA TV app for free on any device. For your iPhone or Apple TV, check the App Store. On your Android or Android TV device, load up the Google Play Store. Have a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick? We have the app for you. Check us out on Facebook Live, Twitter, or YouTube Live by searching for IHSAA TV. Or as always, click to ihsaatv.org for quick and easy access to your favorite IHSAA live and archived events.
You're good at you. You've been you for years. And we're good at your insurance. You're good at laundry basketball. We're good at your insurance. You're good at stopping the gas pump on a 00. We're good at your insurance. You're good at making funny face sandwiches. And we're good at your insurance. So start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Well, it's not been the most beautiful of first halves, but nonetheless, we are at halftime. Fisher's up by 10, 27-17, led by minutes 13, trailed by 5 at one time as Anderson scored the first 5 points off the game. And we're joined at halftime by Brian Hammonds. You remember Brian a long time ago. Has it been that long since you anchored stuff? What is it, Channel 6? Are they still in business?
Yeah, 6 and then 59. Yeah, I was on local TV for a long time before a 21-year run at the Golf Channel.
Yeah, you had my my favorite job, just chasing golfers around. That's pretty neat.
It was a good run. It was the best job I've ever had.
Attaboy. And Brian is joining us because he's got some association with Anderson. You were telling me about this before our games tonight. You're going to get involved with the Anderson radio, and not just radio up there, but the town in general and the Wigwam in particular. What's going on?
Well, starting with the radio gig, I've been tasked. My official title. This sounds fancy. I'm the broadcast development consultant.
Now, does big pay come with that?
Oh, of course, of course. You know radio.
Oh, yeah.
But it really intrigued me because WHBU radio, for instance, is one of the stations that I'm with, and I grew up listening to that station. Old Sam Roberts doing the high school games when I was growing up. So to help that station become prominent again, it really interested me in my hometown. So we're blowing it up and starting all over again, Bake. You want a job?
I think that's fantastic because that market was a very competitive market at one time with WLHN and all these other people going after each other. And it kind of goes along, Brian, with what Jen and I talked about during the game. It's sad to see this Anderson situation as it is on the court, And we'll just touch on that while we're there. Of all of the history they have, 50-plus sectionals and all the regionals and semi-state, and they're in a really down mode right now.
Well, that town's been through an awful lot. When I was growing up, the town was 85,000 people, very vibrant with General Motors there. And then when General Motors left, I think now 55,000, 50 or 55,000 people live there. We've gone from 3 very competitive high schools. I went to Highland. We had Madison Heights and Anderson as well. Now there's only 1 high school.
Yeah.
And it's at the old Madison Heights campus. So the town has been through a lot, but it's starting to rebound, and I'm really pleased with what I'm seeing with the revitalization of downtown. And you mentioned the Wigwam. I'm involved with that project to try to bring that back to life, and that's going well. We're hoping by the 2021 basketball season that we're playing again in the Wigwam, and not just Anderson High School playing there, but with a lot of different events being held in there.
I go back to the days when the Pacers played a preseason exhibition
I remember
game there.
I played hooky from school, so I could go. They played the Miami Floridians in the playoffs.
As a matter of fact, I recall doing the broadcast from the stage behind the basket, which is not the best place to do a radio broadcast, by the way. But the Wigwam intrigues me. How is it right now today? What's it look like?
It's in pretty bad shape.
Yep.
There's a lot of work to be done, but there's some energy behind this project. There's a lot of people interested in once we get it done, playing games, playing tournaments, doing a lot of big-time things there. So we're excited about that project. I live here in Carmel, so this is an easy trip for me over here, but I keep getting drawn back to my hometown, and I'm excited about that.
And you've got a golf tournament coming up that you're very much involved with sometime in June.
Yeah, June 14th is the charity event that I've hosted for. This will be the 8th year now. I took over from Sandy Patty when she moved away, of course, an Anderson legend. And all proceeds benefit the St. Vincent Anderson Children's Charities. It's a great time. We've got a great celebrity field, and you've played in it before, and I want you to play in it again. So I'm very proud of what we've done with that because we've raised quite a bit of money in those 8 years.
And your association with the Golf Channel and the golf people who are involved with that effort are also participating in this effort.
We brought back tour players every year that I've been involved. We've had Mark Calcavecchia. We've had John Mahaffey's been here every year. He's a dear friend. Kurt Byram, Billy Ray Brown. Last year we had Fuzzy Zeller here. So it's a lot of fun. They enjoy it. Because it's an old school golf course. They enjoy coming and playing and being involved with it. So, we've been very blessed with the people we've been able to attract.
You mentioned Kurt Byram because you and I were chatting before the game tonight. I've never met a nicer man in my life than Kurt Byram, for crying out loud.
That's the greatest thing about the sport of golf because there's so many good people in it. People have always asked me, well, who are your favorite players? And I can't answer that because there's so many really good guys in the sport.
All right, tell me about the first half of tonight's game. I'll let you be an analyst here for a second. Pretty ugly, huh?
Yeah,
But ugly's okay for Anderson right now.
Yeah, right, exactly. Nobody really expected this game to be close. Now, the first game was a bit of a surprise. Nobody expected that one to be close either, and Westfield should have won that 3 different times.
I commend you for your efforts over in Anderson and working with the radio people over there. You're going to work with some newcomers into the field. I think that's always good.
Yeah, there's some talent there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've expanded our sectional coverage tonight. Not only are we doing the play-by-play of this game, but we have reporters from 2 other sites that are involved, Madison County schools. So high school sports is going to be a very important part of our growth.
It's always great to have you here anytime we're alongside you. Welcome, my friend.
Bake, it's always good to see you.
All right, buddy. Brian Hammonds out doing things with radio and television and trying to get the Wigwam back into good shape, and that would be a major accomplishment. There's your score, 10-point differential. Low-scoring first half, Fishers 27-17 on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
For the first time in forever, I feel like us. I feel like we're back to that place where we know what each other's thinking and feeling.
Sometimes I think we don't have enough insurance. And then I think maybe we have too much.
This is no moment for insurance. Let us help you think about it. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
We're back now at Carmel High School. There's your score, 27-17. The winner of this game gets number 1 Carmel on Friday night in game number 2. If you missed it earlier, a terrific game. That's what Brian was referring to. Hamilton Southeastern, a 5-point, 62-57 win over Westfield in double overtime. Leading scorer for Anderson in the first half, 6 points each for Jesse Sawyer and Davion Turner, 3 for Jones, and a couple of points for Brandon Harrelson. One of the other starters, Ontarius Jones, did not score. Fishers has a 9-point total out of Willie Jackson, then 5 from Justin Long, 6 from Jeffrey Simmons, 3 from Luke Hernandez, and a couple of points from Alex Savali and Matthews also with a couple of points. Second half, we're ready to go, big guy. What are you thinking?
Well, I guess, if you're Anderson, you're not in that bad of shape, all things considered. You're still within 10. You can't dig yourself any deeper, though, Bake.
Well, I mentioned to Brian, and I say this in semi-jest, but it's true. It was an ugly first half of play. And if I'm Anderson, I want an ugly game right now.
Yeah, they do. That's a great point. They don't want it to be pretty because pretty probably favors Fishers.
In fact, right now, I would suspect that the Anderson coaching staff is not all that upset with being down by 10, and now they're down by 7 after a long-range shot by Joseph Jones.
It's exactly the way. Good start here. Cut it down. 2 or 3 possessions, and you're right where you want to be.
So Jones has 6 points now with a couple of 3-point field goals, and we're just underway in the second half here at Carmel High School. Anderson Indians coming in here with a 7-win, 16-loss record, and somebody went to sleep. And sneaking in the back door is Simmons, and he has 8 points now for the Fishers Tigers. Very quiet in here tonight, not a particularly large crowd, and a traveling violation called against Anderson.
Yeah, pretty good crowds from both Westfield and
Southeastern,
and they're now gone. So, it's a little less crowd. So,
and the turnover situation, we don't have privy to the first half stats, but I'm just thinking the stats, the turnovers, you simply, in this kind of a game, you can't give them away like that.
No, you can't give away the easy ones if you're Anderson. That really will backfire.
Loose ball is picked up by Fishers. They'll swing off in the deep left corner and fire the 3. And then a good rebound that time. Really a muscular rebound by Brandon Harrelson, who leads this team with rebounds with 6.8 per game.
There's Harrelson again.
There he is, and he got the bucket.
I love the effort out of this young guy.
4 points now for Harrelson, well below his 12.5 per game average, and now the lead is 7 again. Fishers gets inside for the layup. No contest. Matthews with his first field goal of the night. 4 points.
Fishers is recognizing when the paint is open, and they're really forcing it and going right at the rim.
Now let's see what kind of a pace Anderson wants to run this game at. Jen and I both thought at the outset of the game they might want to slow things down. They did not indicate that, even though the scoring was so low. Both Anderson and Fisher scored 6 points apiece in the second quarter. Now a backdoor cut, and there was nobody there to defend Jesse Sawyer.
Sawyer's now. Anderson kind of keeping pace with Fisher.
Sawyer getting his first point since the opening quarter of the game. His average is just a touch under 7 points per. 5.5 to go in the third period. Fisher's a ball club that averages 60.5 points per game. And they almost threw it away, but it's saved deep on the right side by Willie Jackson. And a timeout's going to be taken by Fishers because Matt Moore is not happy with what he is seeing right now out of his ball club. So a timeout by the Indians with 5:17 to go, and they're up by 7, 31-24.
And rightfully so. Fishers, last thing you want to see in your ball club is to start getting a little sloppy. That'll drive you crazy.
Just checking here, Jed, as we kind of keep track of some of the scores at Newcastle. Our coverage will go to Newcastle on Friday night. It's Hamilton Heights beating Muncie Burris 62-48, Jim. So Heights will play Newcastle, a 12-10 ball club. Hamilton Heights now 15-8 in that first game on Friday night.
That should be a good one.
Yeah, and a very close game. It's down at Southwestern Shelbyville with Morristown, a 17-4 ball club, just getting by Rising Sun, 10-10 on the year, 57-56. The time is back in. Here comes Fishers again.
Make everything during sectional time tightens up. Everything's a little different.
You refer to it as an upset. I don't know if there are upsets in the tournament or not. I mean, this would obviously be an upset, and Brownsburg losing is a bit of an upset, but don't tell that to the other team. Just ticked off inside 5 minutes to go now. Here's a steal again by Anderson. The Indians bring it across the line, and this is the guy that's been so good, Brandon Harrelson, a 6'1 senior. He has come up with a bucket here in this quarter and been very muscular, very much Philly's going to have to deal with. The foul is on Jackson. That'll be number 2 on Willie.
If I'm Anderson, I want to continue to get to the free throw line as much as I can. They're not quite in bonus, but you got to like the way at least they're attacking.
Absolutely. Justin Long returns now for Fisher, seeking out Willie Jackson. Inside, basket is good. They're going to count it. Basket is good by Jesse Sawyer. Sawyer now in double figures with 10. And the foul will be on Luke Hernandez, and that'll be 3 on one of the starters.
They catch a 5, could be a 4-point ball game.
Sawyer with 10 points and can't get the roll. So he misses the front end of, misses the chance for the 3-point play. Quickly, Fisher's getting back. And one and done, and here comes Anderson again. A chance to chop this lead even further. Jen, they could get this thing within 2 points here with a 3-pointer.
Well, really near the end of the second period, Fisher's really kind of lost focus, and honestly, they haven't got it back.
Oh, an easy shot that time by Wills, and he couldn't get it to fall.
That's tough. He was right where he wanted to be. Just couldn't get it to drop.
Fouls on Brandon Harrelson. That'll be number 2 on their big guy. And here comes full court pressure now by the Anderson Indians. 4:15 to go here in the third, and it's a 31-26 ball game in favor of Fishers, as the Tigers, once they got the lead, have managed to hang on to it. Here's a point-blank range miss. Now numbers on the break for Anderson. Pull-up jumper is no good. Tapped in the air and yanked out of there by Jeffrey Simmons.
Well, Anderson's had 2 great opportunities, couldn't finish.
Inside 4 minutes to go in the third. Inside for the layup. Nobody went over to get him, but he missed the shot. Now the rebound, and no good again. And we'll try it a third time, and finally, Justin Long gets the bucket. He has 7 points so far. 3 minutes, 35 to go here in the third quarter. Harrelson, no go. Spinning move inside, and it won't fall. Boy, the shooting has been horrendous in this game. No block. I thought for a moment they'd get the blocking foul. No call.
Well, he went around him. And
they did.
More importantly, Anderson's come away with 3 missed layups in a row.
And the foul will be either on Wills or Harrelson. They were both right there. That'll be on Harrelson. That'll be 3 on him, Jen. They can ill afford to lose Brandon Harrelson.
Fishers makes those 3 layups make. It's 33-30-26. They're still, if you will, in striking distance.
And they steal the inbound pass. They've got a man up court, but we'll get a blocking foul prior to that. And the foul will go against Alec Salaji. Second one on the 6-foot junior.
I think you made a very interesting point about Anderson to a degree once it's sloppy. Sloppy has disrupted Fishers in a funny roundabout way. It's funny how this game works sometimes.
It is, Dan. It's almost like Fishers is playing down a little bit.
I think they are.
And Anderson is playing up. The Indians showing us a little more than we expected right now. It's not pretty, but right now they're still in the ball game. And when they got down by 13, Jan, they could have packed their bags and gone home. You're going to get a foul called. There are 3 red shirts they can choose from.
And if you're not shooting well, attack.
Absolutely.
Get to the free throw line.
That'll be on Justin Long for Fishers. That'll be number 2 on him, and that'll be team foul number 4, but in the act of shooting. So Anderson will go to the free throw stripe with 2. Jones, an 80% shooter. This is a pretty good free throw shooting team, totally only 67%, but their starters are good free throw shooters. That's 4 points in the quarter, now 5 for Joseph Jones, and 8 points total on the evening, and the lead goes down to 33-28.
Yep, 2:52 left in this third period. It's a 5-point ball game.
And a timeout will be taken by the Fishers Tigers. 2:48 to play in the third quarter, and we will take a break. It's 33-28 Fishers over Anderson on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
For the first time in forever, I feel like us. I feel like we're back to that place where we know what each other's thinking and feeling.
You know, sometimes I think we don't have enough insurance. And then I think maybe we have too much.
This is no moment for insurance. Let us help you think about it. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Jerry Baker, Big Jan Bozier, Rick Vanderwellen, our executive producer, the rest of our crew on hand here tonight. Brad Silbert handling the sideline interviews. Happy to have you along on the IHSAA Champions Network. Again, the first game tonight, Chan, was a super game, double overtime. Hamilton Southeastern 62-57.
Yeah, it was a game that could have gone any way for most of the game. Southeastern couldn't put it away, but they're in the overtime, free throws, and how often do we see that? Free throws are the difference in a ball game.
Yep. So HSC will advance to play Noblesville in the opening game on Friday night. And the winner of this game gets #1 Carmel in the second game on Friday night. Here's a near steal. What good defense employed by Davion Turner, only the freshman out there, number 24 for Anderson. Now they trap in the corner. Then that's 3 or 4 times now. Anderson's done a good job trapping either in the corner or out at the timeline.
Well, they're being aggressive, and they're being aggressive on defense to get the ball, and that's turning into aggressiveness on offense, getting in the paint.
2:15 to play in this third quarter. And so far, this is anybody's ball game. At one point, it didn't look like it. Fishers had a 13-point lead. Now inside for the uncontested layup by Alex Savali.
Somebody's got to stop ball.
Out of bounds, and it belongs to Fishers. Now, those are the plays, Jan, that'll kill you if you're Anderson. You cannot let that happen.
No, you got it. Don't be in a hurry. You're within striking distance. Don't throw a possession away.
You've done a good job of getting yourself back into the ball game.
Because we're heading with a minute 47, and then in the fourth period, there's only so many possessions.
And we'll get a foul on Terrius Jones. Could not stop his momentum. Gets foul number 2. Team foul number 3. Either ball club in danger of getting into the bonus situation as of yet. 1:42 to play in the third quarter in a 35-28 ball game.
There you go.
Alex Szilagyi getting a three-pointer gives him 5 points in the quarter. That's his 46th three-pointer of the year.
Boy, there's another turnover.
Another turnover.
That hurts.
So back in for Anderson, James Glazebrook, 5'11 sophomore with a 2.5 per game scoring average. Leads the team in block shots. To give you some idea how defensively they're not that strong, he leads the team in block shots with 5, and he's 5'11. A minute 22 to play in the third. And they'll get inside and miss the shot, and here comes Anderson again.
I thought Fishers was a little quick there. It wasn't a bad shot, but you didn't want Anderson to have a shot of putting any points on the board here at all.
Well, there's no reason for Fishers to be in a hurry at all.
Right.
Here's a blocking foul called on Emmanuel Davis of Fishers. That'll be the second on the 6'2 senior.
Could be a 4-point swing because you could have had an opportunity to put 2 on. Now, the Indians put 2 on. That's a 4-point swing.
Fouled in the act of shooting Brandon Harrelson at the line. 71% on the season. First time tonight. 1 minute to go here in the quarter. 10-point lead. And he missed them both. Another situation, Jan, where you got the clock stopped and you need buckets.
Got to hit the free throws and you got to finish the easy ones.
And they lob it inside. And a pretty good effort that time by Jesse Sawyer, but he'll get hit with his first foul. Did a good job on Simmons that time to at least stop the shot.
Well, the thing that Simmons does really well here is he goes up strong and he forces the foul.
Simmons, first free throw try tonight, 68% on the season. Jeffrey averages 11.9 points a game. That gives him 9, now 10. And we're inside a minute. 49 seconds to go, third quarter of play. The lead goes back now to a dozen. Well, Jen, they had it down to 7 and had the basketball.
They sure did. And they had 3 layups that they couldn't convert on, and then they missed free throws. Technically, 8 to 10 point swing there. Ifs and buts.
Yeah, they weren't like they were tough shots. They just missed layups. There's a long three that's short off the front of the rim. Rebounding his own shot is Glazebrooks. He'll go back inside, miss the shot, but draw the foul. And I believe they will get Davis this time again. And on Emmanuel, that'll be number 3. That's team foul number 6, but fouled in the act of shooting. And Glazebrooks will be at the line. He has not scored in tonight's game, coming off the bench. He averages 2.5 points a game.
Glazebrooks is 78% free throw shooter, but he misses that one.
Of course, that 78's a misleading, Jen. He was 7 for 9 total coming into the season, into the game.
True.
So, well, that's 4 points right there.
That's killer right there. Free throws. Boy, you hit your free throws when you're not in too bad a shape.
20 seconds to play in the third period. Fishers now will just play for the final shot of the quarter. They're up now by a dozen points.
Look out.
And we got an offensive foul called on Simmons.
Yeah.
First on Jeffrey.
Good position by Anderson to pick up that charge.
Anderson will get the basketball with 5 seconds to play in the quarter. They're down 40 to 28. Wide open look at the three-point zone of the corner. No good. That'll take us to the end of 3. After the third quarter, it is Fishers 40 and Anderson 28. On the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana high school sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
We head to the fourth quarter of play. Fishers up by 40 to 28. Leading scorer for the Anderson Indians with 10 points is Jesse Sawyer. And for Fishers, also one player in double figures, Jeffrey Simmons with 10. Anderson's going to look back at this game, Jan, and say, man, did we miss an opportunity in that third quarter?
Chances they certainly have had. And they just, at certain times, could not connect on those type of things.
So the fourth quarter coming up now. Fishers has led by as many as 13 after trailing at the outset of the ball game. Anderson got the first 5 points of the game on a 3 out of 2. And since then they have been looking upward at the scoreboard. And as I say, trailing by as many as 13.
If you're Fishers right now, you want to finish strong.
Well, Anderson has made them look a little funky at times.
They
in this
have.
ball game.
They've really disrupted Fishers for sure.
There's Jones. A little pull-up jumper by Joseph Jones, and he got it. What a good-looking play by the 6'5" junior.
Yeah, he's been promising for Anderson.
Now he's in double figures with 10. He averages 9.3. Second of the ball club in assists, but just under 2 per game. Driving layup
shot.
is good. Alex Szilagyi now with 9. And a steal, and foul's going to be called against Anderson.
Szilagyi really doing a good job of getting paint penetration. He's been very active, Bake, underneath that hoop.
And so foul's going to be on Wills for Anderson. That'll be 3 on him, and this is Szilagyi at the line. Now he's in double figures with 10. Returning for Anderson, Ontario's Jones. Szilagyi is averaging 10.2 per game, and he's got 11 right now. So with 1 minute gone here in the fourth quarter, it goes to 14 points as a lead. That's the high water mark lead-wise. And it just seems like about a minute ago it was down to 7 with the possession in Anderson's hands. Three-pointer is good from way outside by Jones again.
Jones really having a good fourth period.
13 now for Joseph Jones. His third three-pointer of the game, now 45 on the year.
Anderson won't go away. They're staying within 11 here. Got to get a stop. And let's see if Fishers can answer the bell.
And again, Jan, that trapping defense, either at the timeline or down in the corner by Anderson, has paid some dividends tonight.
It really has. They've been as active as I think they possibly can be defensively. If they can finish here a little more effectively on offense, they can maybe have a little run left back in them here.
Yeah, we're 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, so you just got to take it one bucket at a time. And when you look back at the shooting, and again, Jan, I bet they're not shooting 30%. Right now, that's been a real killer. Here's the rebound, and the layup is good by Sawyer. He has a dozen, and all of a sudden it's back down to a 9-point lead again.
I like the way the Indians are just hanging in there and playing hard. Fisher's got to pick up this game a little bit to match the intensity of Anderson.
It was a 14-point lead, seemed like a couple of minutes ago. Here's the layup that is good by Luke Hernandez. 5 points now for the 6'2 senior. And it's 46-35.
Well, the Tigers are exploding the baseline there. Anderson has got to cut that off. The Fisher's doing a great job of really getting too easy of shots.
Blocking foul, a goal against the Tigers. It's on Willie Jackson. That'll be the third of the 5'11 senior. And the 8th team foul, so we're in the 1-and-1 situation right now. This free throw situation could be very important for Anderson.
No doubt about it.
Sawyer now with 13 points, 1 out of 2 from the line. Not a good free throw shooter on the year, 59%. And he got them both. 14 now for Jesse, who averages just a shade under 7. Now here comes full court pressure, and the lead is again down to 9.
Well, you got to wonder, if you're Anderson, how much energy have they used to just continue to fight to get back in this thing? Let's see if they can hang in there.
5:15 to go in the fourth quarter of this game.
They're really putting Fishers in a little bit of predicament to make a mistake. To see if how well they can play.
Here's the ball knocked away, and last touch by number 14, Jesse Sawyer, who's really kind of everywhere. They're getting ready to bring Tyrell Wills, the freshman, back into the contest now for Anderson.
Fisher's getting most of their points back really underneath the bucket and in the paint.
5 minutes, 5 seconds to play here in the fourth quarter, and they get it inside again. Yep.
See, that's where they're getting all their shots. That's great for Fishers, but if Anderson has any shot, they got to shut that off.
Simmons now with a dozen points, and with 4:52 to go in the game, here's a long-range three again, and he nailed it again.
He's got ice in his veins. I love it.
He has 8 points. 8 points in the quarter after getting 8 in the first 3 quarters. 16 points for Joseph Jones and a timeout. And we'll take a timeout. Oh, well, we'll stay right here, I guess. Don't just hope you're covered in the event of an accident. Find agents in every Indiana county at infarmbureau.com. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, stop knocking on wood. And by the way, did you know that IHSA TV has a YouTube page, over 500 past state championships, including that historic 1954 Milan game, and they're free to watch. This game and all future games will be posted, by the way, so check it out today, IHSA TV.
Well, Anderson with 5 seniors on this ball club, and Fishers with 7, so some seniors playing in their last game here. You don't want it to end on a loss, so no reason to take any energy home, Bake. Got to lay it on the line here with 4:45 left in this one.
You know, if I'm Fishers, if I'm Anderson, all I want is something doable.
Right.
You're down by 8. You got half a quarter to go. That's doable.
Just lay it on the line,
and
man.
that's all. If you're Indians, that's all you're looking for.
Yep.
Ball club that's won 7 games all year long. Fishers comes in at 16-7.
Anderson knew this would be a tough, difficult game. But, boy, you got to give them a lot of credit. They just played hard, kind of hung around.
According to the Sagarin rankings, if you follow basketball at all, you're familiar with Jeff Sagarin's rankings. Fishers is number 25 in the state.
See, now there's an error by Fishers. They got a little comfortable, and I got to think they did not need that long 3 shot at all with an 8-point lead.
No. Matt does not want that. You understand Lawrence North has just beaten Indianapolis Cathedral.
Wow, that's a big one. Seen Cathedral many a times this year. Pretty good ball club. You just never know, do you, Big?
No, you do not. When it comes tournament time, you wipe everything out. Tyrell Wills now with the line gets the first of 2 free throws, Jan, and they've got that lead down to 7. They can get it down to 2 possessions here. And they don't. He's knocked out of bounds, and last touch
free throws
by Anderson.
Free throws really starting to haunt Anderson here a little bit. Got to make the free throws to have a shot here.
I mentioned that Sagarin has Fishers ranked number 25. If you look on the other side, Anderson's ranked number 149 in the state. And right now, Jen, they're still in this contest with half a quarter to go.
If you're a Fishers fan, they just got to finish, get good ball movement. There you go. Don't force it. Make sure you get the shot you want.
They'll take one from the deep corner and
there
they'll
you
get
go.
it.
But that three-pointer is in a good motion in the offense, and they got a nice really look at it.
7 points in the quarter for Siglaji, and he had 7 points coming into the third quarter. Spin move inside is good. What an effort that time by number 14, Jesse Sawyer.
Tough shot.
16 now for Jesse. His season high is 18. 3:33 to go in the fourth quarter. And at the other end, the missed layup and just a muscle rebound that time. Take it out of there. And here comes Anderson again. He'll get the layup and blow another layup.
That's at least 4 here in the second half.
Now the numbers on the break at the other end, and no bucket, but the foul will be called. And the foul's going to go against Tyrell Willis, number 4 on him. Tyrell Willis, number 4. Yeah, and I think you're being conservative when you say they missed 4 layups. I bet you it's closer to 6 or 7.
I should say at least 4.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Right.
Salaji with the first of 2. He has 8 points this period, 15 points on the night with 3:16 to go. Alex got them both.
Armand Franklin had 30 points in that loss to LM, but it wasn't enough.
Boy, I saw him play earlier this year. He's a super player, boy.
Going to IU, and they sure could use him.
Spin move inside.
Oh, my. That's a great shot.
There's another one, Jan, that's in and out.
Yep.
Layup at the other end is good by Salaji. He has 11 points in this quarter. He has 11 of their 15. Floater out front is good by Joseph Jones, who is putting on a clinic here in the fourth quarter for Anderson.
How about the effort out of this young man?
And the foul is called on Davis. Emmanuel will have his 4th foul. And
I tell you,
Jones will go to the line.
Anderson has played their tails off here in this fourth period.
Indeed they have.
Everything hasn't went exactly as they would like it, but it's not because the effort hadn't been there.
And another missed free throw. So the lead is back to 10 again with 2:45 to go.
Monrovia 64, Cloverdale 31. That's a final.
In for the layup. No good. Foul is called. Brandon Harrelson, number 4 on him. And Matthews will go to the line. And a timeout will be taken by Fisher. So let's recap the game briefly for you. Fishers led at the end of the first quarter by a score of 20-11. It looked to be just a complete blowout, and then the second quarter was just weird. Anderson scored 6 points. Fisher scored 7, and they led 27-17 at halftime. After the end of the third quarter, it was 40-28 in favor of Fishers, and now they're up 55-45 as we go into the final 2:36.
You know, I think Anderson looks at this, and if they don't win, we'll look back and look. We put ourselves in a position where we had a shot. I mean, our offense has got us some shots we didn't close on, and we've missed some free throws, but they're doing the things that have enabled them to get it, just have not been able to get over the hump.
Yeah, if I'm the head coach at Anderson, Mike Elliott, and his staff, while not excited about what I have seen, I'm encouraged by what I have seen.
You got to take steps to get programs back where you want them. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You just got to have so many things. I think you tell your kids that this is certainly not over, but just keep giving effort. On one effort, we'll fix everything else.
Well, there's the reverse layup by Harrelson. 6 points now for Brandon. And it's 56-47 with 2:13 to go now in this fourth quarter. Inside, too many of those kind of shots right there, James.
Yeah,
too many layups.
That's been the demise of Anderson. 2 minutes now left in this one, Meg.
9 points for Justin Wong. Final couple of minutes, and they throw it away.
Danville 68, Tri-West 58. That's a final.
They can check John Harrelson's website. I mentioned that because I don't know how we would exist in the broadcast business without John Harrelson's website. Final 2 minutes of the game. Backdoor cut. Nobody there to put the stop on number 12.
Great look.
Salaji. Boy, he's having a great fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Alex Salaji, 6-foot junior. And a spin inside, and another miss from point-blank range. And finally, they get it to fall with Harrelson picking up his 8th point of the game and a timeout. Just doing some looking here. 2, 4, 6, 9, 13 points in the quarter for Alex. Gives him 20 in the game.
Well, you learn to play another day, but as you've mentioned now many times, the winner of this ball game will get to play number 1 Carmel on their own floor. That is a handful.
Oh, man. Carmel comes in at 20-1, and they will play the winner of this game, which right now with an 11-point lead and a minute 35 to go would appear to be Fishers. Let me just take a look here. Fishers and Carmel, you would have thought they would have played this year, Jan, but they did not play this year.
No, they sure didn't.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, they did not play. Now, of course, in the other game, Noblesville and HSE played early in the season, and I can tell you that score. Southeastern won 68-43. So they got the Millers that time, 25, but I see Noblesville want to slow it way down.
Oh, yeah.
And they've played with a lot of teams. They weren't able to finish victories on a lot, but they certainly were in. They had Carmel. Noblesville had Carmel 20-20 at halftime. So they've played with some teams. They struggled to get over the hump and close, but both games should be pretty competitive.
That's one of the reasons that Fishers and Carmel did not make. Fishers is in the Hoosier Crossroad Conference.
Right.
And Carmel in the North Central Conference.
Well, Carmel plays Noblesville and Southeastern. They just don't play Fishers.
Yep. Minute and a half to go in this ball game. And Fishers is going to advance into the second round. As Jan pointed out, they'll play the number 1 team of the state, Carmel Greyhounds, if that's not bad enough, you're going to play them on their home court in front of their raucous crowd. And here comes Fishers again.
I like this guy's game right here.
Yeah, Justin Long.
Long has played
11 points now for Justin. That's he averages 3 points a game. He's got 11.
And he's been in an attack mood, showing a lot of confidence going to the hoop.
That was on Glazed Brooks. We're down to 1:10 to go in the quarter. Final of the quarter. And Long will go to the line, looking for his 12th point of the night. Justin Long's, this is his high point game of the year. His previous high coming into the game was 8 points.
I want to thank Jim Inskeep, AD here at Carmel, super job. I asked him if he ever sleeps. He says, you don't understand. I sleep hard when I sleep.
Well, the AD's job for all of the athletic directors, that's a tough job now,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Here's a steal, and the layup is good. That is Hernandez, giving him 7 points.
This game's starting to get a little out of hand now. Fisher's able to pull away.
Yeah, thanks to Jim and Wolfie and everybody else here at the school. They always treat us great, and we appreciate that very much. Less than a minute to go, 55.6. And again, on Friday, the gang will be in Newcastle. Jen, I assume that Delta-Yorktown game is probably still going on. It's running parallel to ours. Hamilton Heights knocked off Muncie Burris 62-48. So Friday they will play Newcastle, a ball club that's 12-10, in the first game, and then Blackford will play the winner of Delta and Yorktown in game number 2. And we'll be at Southwestern Shelbyville on Saturday night. Here's the layup that is off the mark. Go ahead.
I was just going to tell you, Delta 67, Yorktown 35, Big.
Final score? All right.
Yes, sir.
So Delta, what was 67? 35. So that sets up the Newcastle matchup. Here's a foul, by the way, on Roman Molden, who came up just off the bench as Fisher starts to clear their bench.
How fun to go play at Newcastle. That's pretty. You did the holiday tournament there. You've been doing games there for a long time.
Great place to go.
I love to go to Newcastle.
Great place to go.
That place is packed. There's no better place.
So that will set up your matchup at Newcastle. It'll be Hamilton Heights and Newcastle, and then Delta and Blackford. Blackford 17-5, by the way.
Yep.
So we're down to the final 35 seconds of the fourth quarter of this ball game, and it's been all Tigers. Once they got the lead after trailing 5-0 at the outset of the game, well, they just kind of rolled here. Not been the prettiest of games. Anderson did get their scoring average, or Fishers did get their scoring average, and they averaged 62. They got 65 right now.
Pulled away there at the end and got the points, but Anderson gave them all the effort they possibly could muster up. And unfortunately for Anderson, 5 seniors playing their last game tonight, Big. That hurts.
Final seconds, and Anderson will head out of here with their 17th loss of the year. They'll finish the season at 7-17. Fishers now goes to just the opposite, 17-7, with the final score of 65-51. Let me just total up here: 2, 4, 6, 9, 13, 20 points on the night for Alex Szilagyi. He had a terrific ball game. 12 points, double figures for Justin Long with a dozen, and 12 points likewise for Jeffrey Simmons for Fishers. For Anderson, by a nice fourth quarter, Jan, for Joseph Jones. He had 8 points going into the quarter, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had 10 points in the quarter, 18 on the night. And then 16 points for Jesse Sawyer. So those are the only players in double figures. So recapping the night for you, final here, Fisher 65-51. First game, great game, double overtime. Hamilton Southeastern 62, Westfield 57. Jan, give me a thought on Friday night here at Carmel. It'll be Hamilton Southeastern going up against Noblesville at 13-10. Hamilton Southeastern now 15-8. Let's head down to the sideline first with Brad. Brad?
Well,
yeah, we've not got our mic. Brad, our mic's not working right now, Brad. Yeah, he can't hear us either, so.
There we go.
There we go.
All right, let's try
boy.
it again here.
You're
Well,
newcomer
Coach,
broadcast.
Coach Matt Moore. Coach, not quite the type of game you would have liked to have tonight, but still a victory and a great night for Alex Szilagyi.
Yeah, no, I was pleased with the effort. I think this time of year you got to find ways to win, and unconventionally sometimes people want it to be similar to the first time you play a team, but they practice just like we do. They prepare. They're well coached. They got guys that want to compete and continue their careers. So, it's a 14-point win. I thought we did a good job in pockets of pulling away and responding when they made runs. So I'm pleased with it. Obviously, there's some things we got to clean up, but this time of year, whether it's 14 or 1, you're continuing on, and that's what we get a chance to do for Friday.
Congratulations on the victory, and good luck against the Greyhounds on Friday night. Thanks, Coach. Jerry, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Brad. Jan, let's take a look now. Let's kind of take a look at Friday night's matchup here. First off, HSC, Hamilton Southeastern, and Noblesville. Miller's come in at 13-10. HSC now 15-8.
Look for Noblesville to pull the air out of the bucket. They're going to want to slow that puppy way down. That's the way they're playing basketball. Keep it close, give themselves a chance.
All right, now Fishers goes to 17-7 on the year. They'll come up against the number 1 team in the state, Carmel, at 20-1. The Fishers club that was on the floor tonight, and Coach just talked about this. Sometimes you just ain't what you think you are. How do they approach battling Carmel?
Well, Carmel is so good defensively. They don't beat themselves. They don't turn it over. Shot selection is absolute primo against Carmel. You got to make every selection, make it your best shot you can develop. They're not always the shot you want, but you got to manufacture as good a shot. Got to be patient and have any shot at all. You don't have to beat Carmel on the boards, but you certainly have to compete with them.
I'm just thinking as you're talking, Jan, it's similar tonight to tonight's game with Anderson.
True.
You've almost got to play a perfect ball game against Carmel. Do they slow it down?
Oh, Carmel won't.
Carmel won't. I know that.
Carmel don't want to go fast pace. So Fishers may say, hey, let's see if we can get them up down the court a little bit. You've got to get teams out of their comfort zone some way, shape, or form. Carmel doesn't want to run, that's for sure. So will Fishers try to do that? If they do, it starts with rebounding.
Right now, I know you're going to Newcastle on Friday night, and here are the matchups there. Hamilton Heights will go up against Newcastle. Newcastle 12-10. Heights goes to 15-8. And in the second ball game there, it'll be Delta going up against Blackford at 17-5. Any thoughts on those games?
Well, Blackford's really good. I will say this, a lot like this, Heights is playing pretty well right now, but to beat Newcastle on their own floor, you got to beat them and beat them solid. You can't just keep it close because that home crowd, that home field, that's tough. Beat them good, and you'll take it home.
That Newcastle reminds me a little bit of Anderson in the respect that this is a terrific franchise, terrific reputation, great history. They want to continue along that same route.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll tell you, Heights is playing really well, so they're going to give, I think, Newcastle everything they can handle.
All right, now let's jump briefly ahead to Saturday. You and I are going to be heading down to southwestern Shelbyville.
Yes.
I've never been there, by the way. And they had one game tonight with Rising Sun and Morristown. Morristown wins it by 1, 57-56. Rising Sun is 18-4 now. Morristown is 18-4. Rising Sun goes to 10-11. Now they got 2 games tomorrow night, so we're not sure who we'll see. The matchup favors Morristown and Oldenburg Academy. If that's the matchup, it'll be a beauty.
It'll be Farm Marshal full. They will let you, me, and Rick in, they promise. But it'll be a lot of fun.
I want to thank Rick Vanderweilen, our executive producer for tonight's game, Brad Silbert for jumping in and doing some terrific interviews tonight. Will Wolford handled our video. So for Big Jan, I'm Jerry Baker. We'll see you again on Friday night in Newcastle, Saturday night at Southwestern Shelbyville. Thanks for joining us on the IHSAA Television Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
For the first time in forever, I feel like us. I feel like we're back to that place where we know what each other's thinking and feeling.
Sometimes I think we don't have enough insurance. And then I think maybe we have too much.